Yay Networks.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh my goodness.
I always do this fun
Coming
thing,
in hot.
right? I do this fun thing to Laura because like we get snippy snappy before we start sometimes. So we were just snippy snappy. So Laura just like fired a shot at me and I was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because
Hey, two can play at that game.
we count in to come in. So count down to come in.
Countdown to come in.
Whatever.
Whatever.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Laura.
And this is Cheers to That Shit. Happy whatever day to you.
Tuesday.
Well, for some might be Wednesday
Oh,
or Thursday
well, and maybe if you live in Australia.
or
I don't-
Friday. Well, it depends on when they want to listen to the podcast.
Okay. True.
Could be a Monday, a
True
chipper
story.
Monday
All
the
right.
following week.
Well, never mind what I said then. Moving on.
How's life?
Good. I've become a little happy homemaker. A little homemaker.
Okay. But more of a happier homemaker than happier homemaker maker.
Well, I just decided to get my sewing machine back out and do some little crafty projects.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. I love sewing.
Yeah, I
and,
know that.
I like to sew home stuff,
Yeah.
like curtains and pillows and stuff. So I'm making a new cover for the bench seat in my what's now my sewing room. It used to be a like game room for the kids, but
Oh, okay.
now they're not there. So I made a new cushion, make some new pillows, and make a new curtain. So yeah,
Fancy.
I know I like it.
Fancy. Well, I'm trying to think of my life. Nothing exciting has happened. Since we're talking about home stuff, I did do the board and batten.
Yeah,
I've become so fucking handy.
it's a
Like,
money pit. Your house is a money pit. If I had $1 for every pillow I've ever bought and then discarded later.
I just bought new throw pillows
I'd
for
have
our
$1 million.
couch and I already don't like them.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
tell Ryan.
You know what? When I was in school for interior design, because that's what, like my official degree is in, that was something
And now
that,
here we are doing a wedding podcast.
Yeah. Oh, it makes total sense. Makes total sense.
There it is.
But no, little thing. I mean, pillows are expensive,
Yeah.
but in the big scheme, a lot cheaper than a new couch. So yeah, all of your big ticket items should be your neutrals, should be your long lasting big spends. And then you can change out, pillows.
No,
and
I
all
already don't like our throw pillows. We're getting our new couch, which is like the final piece.
Mhm.
Well, we got one new couch, but our living room's a little bit bigger. So now we're getting another just like smaller one that comes tomorrow.
Awesome. Here's 2 fluffy white pillows. We could use an upgrade here.
We can upgrade here, and I'll just take these.
maybe
old hand-me-downs.
maybe I'll make some new pillows for our couch here.
Yeah.
Just
So,
saying.
but yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. We still haven't hung anything on the walls because I want to
That's a
get
hard one.
everything
Yeah.
in place first.
Yeah.
And I found this really cute because I like to travel.
Yeah.
And I found this really cute like mixed wood map, but it's not like framed in. It's just like kind of like a big puzzle piece, but it's a
that's cool.
wall
Yeah.
thing. And I showed it to Ryan and he was like, I don't know.
Why don't you buy things in your travels from different places and hang that as your
Well, because then I'd have to wait to hang things. We do buy ornaments, like Christmas
Yeah,
ornaments
I do
everywhere
that
we
too.
go. But I want that world map.
Well, maybe you just need an interior designer.
Or maybe I'll just buy it and then hang it up and be like, oh, sorry, there are already nails in the wall now. So now we have to leave it here. Because I said so. Forever. Thanks for trying, though. Thanks for your input. But that's staying. Because it's so cute.
Yeah.
But, whatever. And I was even trying to be like, oh, and then we could like put pins in the places that we go.
Yeah.
And he was like,
No, that trend is come and gone.
And I was like,
I feel like.
well, it's not for anyone else. It's for my fucking house. And I don't give a shit.
I know. I'm just saying. All right. Well, instead of hiring an interior designer, let's talk about
what we're actually doing today.
Yeah.
So, yes, wedding day of coordinators.
Yeah. That's a dumbest thing I've ever heard of to begin with anyway. So
I know it's your favorite topic.
A day of.
Okay. We'll get in there. Hold on.
Okay.
Slow down, girl. So we're going to talk about today, day of coordinators, but more specifically, can a friend be a day of coordinator? And before we answer the question, because I could see it all over your face, you're about to just spout it out, and that was going to be the end of the episode. We were just going to be like, all right, and goodbye. let's talk about what an actual day of coordinator is. Let's talk about what they actually do. So a day of coordinator, which is more like month of, which is dumb.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't even know how to answer these questions. There's so many thoughts in my mind and my mouth can't move fast enough.
They are responsible for making sure the day or the weekend runs smoothly, making sure that everything is happening according to plan.
Yeah, people are where they are when they're supposed to be there.
They're the point of contacts for the vendors. Sometimes they'll make sure that the final contracts are signed. They'll pass out final payments and tips to everybody.
Right.
They are there really just to make sure that
they're like your personal assistant for the weekend.
For the weekend. Everything is good to go.
Or the wedding.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Everything's good to go. Unlike a wedding planner,
right,
who is the visionary, the curator, they book and plan and get the whole wedding in order. So wedding planners,
based on the couple's vision.
Right.
Yeah.
So wedding planners are there from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You may have booked a venue before you get a wedding planner, but either way, they are there from the very beginning. So they're going to help you book people. They're going to know your budget. They're going to be the ones to recommend, okay, this person is great. Wedding planners, we've talked about like the preferred lists before and wedding planners do have like their preferred vendors.
They know people,
but they know way more people
because they're the event planner and their job is to be out in the community and get to know the vendors out there from the different categories and who they are and what they do. So yes, preferred vendors, total different.
But you know what I mean? Like they have their,
they have the people they like to work with,
but they also have, like you said, like that web of people that they can kind of be like, okay, so this person I normally would recommend, but they're not in your budget. So why don't we go to this person?
Well, there's that, but it could be too, like the couple might want something that isn't that the group of vendors that the planner has good contacts with doesn't offer. So she might go to them and say, hey, all my florist friends, my couple is looking for this XYZ. Do you know anyone who offers this or does this? So it is a big, huge networking.
They know people.
Yeah, they know people. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very, I think, underrated
wedding job.
Yeah.
Wedding.
Yeah. Because
vendor.
most people think like, oh, I can do it. I don't need to spend that extra money. They think it's like a chore to spend that extra money. But anyway.
And then they get to the day of and they're like,
yeah.
Wow. So yes. So
let's rein it back in. In.
Anyway, so there are differences between a wedding planner and a day of coordinator. And I think maybe let's also throw in really quickly a venue coordinator.
Yes.
So a day of coordinator.
You can't tell I'm passionate at all about this subject.
Not at all. So a day of coordinator and a wedding planner are there for the couple specifically. They are there for the wedding specifically.
Yes. It's a whole different business.
Yes. So
job.
If you go to a venue and they say, well, we have a venue coordinator.
Or we have a wedding planner on site. They even say that.
Yeah. If it is supplied from the venue,
yes,
9 out of 10 times, it is not an actual wedding planner.
No.
It is a venue coordinator. And a venue coordinator literally only cares, I shouldn't say only cares, is there for
their primary focus is to make sure everything at their venue is running correctly.
Not your wedding.
Right.
So they don't care.
Is the food coming out on time? Is the cook here on time? Are the garbage cans out?
They don't care if your photographer isn't where they're supposed to be.
Right.
They don't care if you're missing a place setting at table 10. They do not care like that, how your day of coordinator and your wedding planner will. I just thought of that. Like I probably should throw that in there. So that's the difference, basic difference between those three things.
Yeah.
So tasks for
a day. Let's talk about how a day of coordinator has really become a month of coordinator.
Yeah,
because
let's do that.
I mean, you talked about how the day of coordinator is really there to kind of be the couple's assistant, make sure people are where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there. But you really can't oversee that and know that unless you have a little bit of knowledge prior.
Some background history.
Yeah, some background history. Maybe like a month out is when you would check in with the couple and get a list of who are all your vendors. What is the timeline that we're looking at? Are you doing hair and makeup? Because that will affect the pictures. And so they kind of have to understand what's already been done. Then they can take all of those pieces and say, okay, now that I know who all these vendors are, then the cake person needs to be here at this time to drop the cake off. They'll kind of help put that timeline together because their best interest, their job is to make sure the day of goes smoothly. So they kind of need to know who all's involved in it so they can make sure that that happens.
Yes.
That they execute that well.
Yes.
So
really, they check in probably like the month before.
Yeah.
And then they probably check in maybe like weekly up until the wedding.
Yeah. I would
but
say
they aren't planning anything.
They're not planning anything.
They're following everything up with everything you've planned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tasks that go into that are like handling the logistics at the actual wedding day, like whatever, creating and sticking to timelines. So a day of coordinator will do that. Communication with the vendors on the actual day or weekend, and then solving any day of problems.
Well, they'll take your things like your place setting cards or your, memorabilia that you're bringing and set it up.
Yeah. Day of stuff. They're not going to get any of that together prior for. They're not going to have any of that. So we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and then we'll answer the question that everybody is dying to know. Can a friend be a day of coordinator? All right. I just had to compose myself for a second.
Oh gosh.
So the question is, can a friend be a day of coordinator?
No.
Correct. Goodbye.
No.
Thank
the
you for
answer
listening.
Is no.
If
the
you
answer will always be no.
Always no. If you want your friend to be able to enjoy your day and to be able to celebrate you and your significant other, no.
Yeah. Well, and we were talking about that on the break. Also, they might just skirt out on whatever responsibility they agreed to do.
Well, because they want to have fun.
Right.
They don't understand what that
means. It's not
even
you like, oh, I really want you to enjoy your day, so I'm not going to, but they just might, I don't know, let's just say they're videoing something for you and their kid is in the wedding party.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have all the video of everybody coming in and it's going to be of their kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
Yeah. I mean, it's just... in general, it's a bad idea. But let's talk about, we talked about in the first part of this, the first block of this is like what the tasks are. So like the logistics, the timeline, the communication to vendors, any problems that arise. Let's break that down. Let's give some examples so that if you're thinking about doing this, you can see why maybe it might not be a good fit for you. Now, I will say before we get started, I know that there are people out there who can handle this, but those people are anomalies.
Yeah.
They're far and few between. Some of these people truly enjoy doing this and that's what they want
to be needed.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So this would be
feel like they're doing something.
Exactly.
I have an aunt who's really like has to be doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be good for your aunt, but let's break this down. So when we brought up handling logistics, you brought up, I think, place settings. Or did I bring it up?
The place card,
the cards,
the seating chart,
the seating chart.
Yeah.
So if, let's say, for instance, someone's name wasn't there or the tables were out of order, that would be the day of coordinator's job to go back and organize that.
Yeah.
So if you have your friend getting ready with you,
troubleshoot it. Maybe one fell out of the box when you're bringing it in, and somebody's card in there telling them what table to go to.
So that's the day of coordinator. Or place settings, making sure that all the place settings have been set out correctly, making sure if you are having a ceremony outside of a church, that all the chairs are there, that everyone has a place to sit, making sure that the knife is there for you to cut your cake. Yeah. That's all part of the day.
The flowers are there. So all the bridesmaids in the wedding party have their boutonnieres and
flowers,
their
corsages, whatever you choose to do. That's all part of
programs are put out.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Those details that you don't think of, as someone getting
DJ
married.
knows where he's setting up.
Yes, like that's
over here at the reception that's separate from the ceremony while
Yes.
this is all going on and everybody's over here.
Yes.
And he's over there and doesn't have anybody to ask.
No one asks.
Where am I setting up at?
That's the day of coordinator. That's who they ask. So if you are wanting your friend to be there with you, but they have to answer all these questions, probably not the best idea.
Yeah. Well, I think too that that's going to create an unnecessary and potentially volatile dynamic between the couple and the friend that they have employed to be their day of coordinator, because now it's like, girl, get away from me. Or,
Well, right,
like I'm trying to do this. And she's like, well, I just need to know where the DJ's supposed to
right.
set up.
Because when you hire a friend, you may not have all that.
Well, we're using
beforehand.
hire loosely. We're talking about not paying.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So then we brought up timeline as well. So creating and sticking to a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Creating a timeline is a lot more in depth than I think the initial thought that goes into it. If you've never say timeline.
Yeah. If you've never planned an event, you don't know how much time is needed to get from point A to point B, to take pictures, to line people up, to go through a receiving line, to have a cocktail. I mean, there's just, if you've never done it before, you wouldn't know.
Right.
So, I don't mean anything bad by that. Someone not being able to
if you haven't
take
done
that
it before,
process
you can't.
on.
I don't want you to do it for my wedding, but like part of the timeline that goes into it is the day of coordinator has to communicate with the photographer. That's probably the biggest person that a day of coordinator timeline wise goes with, because the photographer has points and places that they have to be. They need to know the exact timeline. When is the bride? When is the groom? When is the couple? When are they getting there?
Well, it's
hair and makeup. Do they want pictures done?
Yeah.
Do they want pictures of the wedding party before?
Right.
After? Are they doing a first look? Right. Are they doing pictures with the family? When is the ceremony starting? Do they want me here or do they want me there? Yeah. Do they want pictures coming down the aisle, then pictures after? Are they doing pictures during the cocktail? It
kind of works backwards. And I'm a person who, when we plan our events, I work from a backwards timeline. What the final goal is. So if the ceremony has to start at 2 p.m., then all those things that you just talked about have to occur prior to that. And the photographer, for instance, knows how long it takes them to do that. Not only do it, but you may have to get the bride or, from getting hair and makeup, which might be at this location, over to this location. Right. So there's a buffer of time to make that transition before those pictures can happen. So you start with the timeline or the ceremony and you kind of work your way backwards. The friend, for hire day of coordinator may not even know who the hair and makeup people are.
Well, but not even that. But let's just like for the timeline, like for the ceremony, the first dance, the DJ, their entrance. There's just a lot, like when the food is coming out. There's a lot that goes into the timeline and the planning. And if your friend has never done this before, then they are going to be coming to you a lot that day, saying, like, "Hey, do you want to do this now? Hey, are you ready to do this?" And you're kind of like, on your wedding day, you just want to be told, I need to come here now. Okay. Right. They need me here now. You don't want to have to answer these questions because you're trying to enjoy.
Yeah. Oh, who's the photographer again? That girl over there in the black, they don't even know who the people are.
Right. So then we also brought up the communication with the vendors, which all this ties in together, but I promise we have points. So with the communication with the vendors, if let's say, for instance, you want to add something last minute, like, we didn't want to do a first look, but now we do. Now I do.
I changed my mind.
Can we still do this? Of course, any wedding planner, any day of coordinator, they're going to say, yeah, absolutely. It's your day. Let's make it happen. Let me figure this out for a second. That's something they're going to have to figure out. Or if you're like, we were going to do the bouquet toss, but I don't want to do that. I want to skip that. I don't want to do it anymore. That's part of the timeline, or I'm sorry, that's part of the communication that goes in with the vendors. Hey, DJ, we're not doing the bouquet.
We're going to go right to,
hey, photographer, we are going to do a first look. Or if you want to add the bouquet toss, like that's all part of the communication.
And that's all happening behind the scenes while you're having a cocktail on the dance floor with your new partner for life. And you don't even know what's happening.
Or if you have been told by the venue coordinator, hey, let us know what drink you want. We'll make sure that our bartenders get it to you, and you don't have a drink. Your day of coordinator, your wedding planner is going to be the one to say, hey, they don't have a drink. Can you get that to them, please? That's that person that is constantly communicating, making sure
I just turn around and be like, can you go get me another beer?
Excuse me, my hand's empty. What's happening with this? Parched.
Oh my gosh.
I'm parched. So that's the communication. And then solving problems. This is the big one. And this is the one that I feel like we should focus on a little bit. Actually focus on, not just bitch about. When problems occur at weddings, let's not talk about.
You need a bad cop.
Yes. If you have a drunk friend at a wedding and then you have a friend as the day of coordinator, let's assume even if they don't know each other, they know of each other.
Right.
So now you're having your friend have to go talk to another friend and say, hey, so-and-so, you're being a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're being a little, let's come over here. Let's get you some water.
Yeah.
But if that's a familiar face, that can cause more drama than eliminate it.
Yeah.
Or family drama. If your mother-in-law, if your brand new mother-in-law, bless her heart, she's precious, is acting crazy, is starting to try to take over the wedding. And now you have your best friend coming in saying, hey, Mrs. Whatever.
Yeah. I had a little drama at Jackie's wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Oh gosh. Well, should I interject it or?
Yeah, I want to now. Well, yeah, now.
So my best friend
BFF
was in the bathroom and my niece was in there. And my niece was, I don't know, being drunk, talking, whatever.
Living life.
And my best friend didn't like what she was saying. So decided to offer up her unsolicited opinion. So then they both come, like, then I got bombarded. Okay, I wasn't the bride, obviously,
Right.
but then I got bombarded like, oh my God, I was just in the bathroom and this girl was blah, blah, blah. And then
you had to be like,
then
oh, that's
my niece. Yeah. And then,
oh, that's my best friend.
Well, yeah. But then my niece's mom, who's your sister-in-law,
right,
was like, oh my God, your friend so-and-so came up to my daughter and said, I'm like, really?
It's my daughter's wedding.
Like,
I don't give a shit.
Right.
I don't give a shit. I'm sorry that happened. Sorry, not sorry, actually.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah. And that's a little off.
But that's
off our topic.
But if that were the case,
yeah,
and you had a friend who was day of coordinating Jackie's wedding, they'd have to be the one that you'd be like, hey, can you just make sure like there's no drama? Can you just like whatever, like go smooth that out? But if that person knows them, then it's kind of like you're in the middle now.
Well, I was in the middle
circle.
I was in the middle.
Right.
Thank God they came to me and not to Jackie.
Well, I don't think they would have gone.
I don't think they would have gone to Jackie anyway. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I'm making it sound like it was a big deal. It wasn't a big deal. But my point is, it's a good thing that I ended up being that go between and not them. But yeah.
But I mean, it's just that kind of stuff. Like if there's family drama, or even if like for me at my wedding, I went to the bathroom and the bathroom, like the bridal suite bathroom, overlooked there was a window in there and it overlooked the ceremony. I know it was sneaky. It overlooked the ceremony.
I'm watching
and
you.
I had an arbor and the flowers weren't on it.
Oh.
And it was like 15 minutes before the guests started to arrive. And I was like, okay,
why are my flowers not? Yeah, that's a perfect example.
I was like, let's not freak out.
You need somebody immediately to go.
Like, so I was like, hey, Megan, my flowers aren't on my arbor. And like, and not that it was like this huge, big, intricate, like,
well, it is if you paid for them.
Well, but yeah. So I was like, the flowers they're not on the arbor. Like, were those delivered?
Yeah.
And she was
then
like,
you start stressing.
She literally was like, don't worry, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I walked down the aisle 20 minutes later.
Flowers on the arbor.
Flowers, there they were.
Yeah.
So it's like things like that. It's just they know how to react because they've done this before. So when you have an issue that happens,
like, oh my God,
they have an arsenal of stuff. Like, hey, my nail is broken. Megan came in and was like, I don't have nail glue, but I have super glue. And I was like, okay, cool.
Chad sewed my dress.
Oh yeah.
The whole like,
because your
bottom piece, I stepped on it and it pulled it off. He goes, we can either cut it off or I can sew it back on.
They know they work well under that kind of pressure. So they have the answers to these issues before they're even there. They already have their little toolbox of stuff there, which a friend, if they've never done this before, they're not going to have a sewing kit.
No,
they're not going to have super glue. They're not going to have like backup plans for this or, okay.
I'm sure they have way more things in their little bag of tricks than a sewing kit.
Because you see them, they kind of look at you and they take a deep breath and they're like, Okay,
Got
we have
it.
option 1 or 2. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's go. And then it's done. But those are the kind of things that you don't think about on your wedding day that could happen.
Right.
Like
that you most likely, if not at all, want to employ a friend or family member to take on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we've done that, we're going to take a break. We've given all the facts and a few of our opinions. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to really give our very much unsolicited.
In case you haven't already determined what it is.
In case you haven't figured out what our opinion is on this.
We're going to tell you some more.
And it's going to be, Laura's been literally
well, I don't have any
keeping her life together for this. And she's like, I'm ready for this part. So we'll be right back. Alrighty.
Okay.
Are we here?
Oh,
are we here?
Yes, we're here. Okay.
Laura is getting a little saucy,
fresh,
and
saucy. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Little saucy.
Little saucy. Hey, it's, girls got to do what a girl's got to do.
I get it. Someone's got to live the life. Someone's got to do it. All right. So we're talking about day of coordinators, friend being day of coordinators. Now, Laura, I'm going to open up the floodgates for you to fully just let your little heart erupt all over how you feel.
I feel like I've already
I don't think you
done
have.
that.
I think you've contained yourself pretty well.
Really?
Yes. How do you feel of day of coordinators?
Well,
how do you feel? Come on.
They're dumb.
Okay.
I think it gives planners a bad rap.
Yeah.
I think that if I were a planner, I would not take on any clients that wanted me for that.
Correct.
Because I feel like they get used and abused and then they get blamed for everything that went wrong.
Yes.
When they had nothing to do with planning the event in the first place. Maybe they wouldn't even have picked those vendors.
Right.
Because they know they're not trustworthy or they didn't have any interaction with them previously and it went completely awry through the whole weekend. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. I also think that they can be underrated in terms of planners in general of being hired because people think, oh, I can do it myself. My mom can help me with this. My friend's going to help me with this. I don't have the budget for it. That should be the one thing that you make the budget for because it will make everybody's day go so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, even being in the industry as a mother of the bride.
Yeah.
Because when I got married, it, was not really a thing, but as a mother of the bride, that was my first thing that I said I was going to do was hire a wedding planner.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to enjoy the day too.
Yeah.
I know it's my daughter's day. I know she was the bride, but I have expectations as a parent.
Well, and you don't want to be answering questions throughout the entire, because
I
aren't going to go up to your daughter to answer they're going to go to you.
Right.
I don't want to do that shit either.
Right. Well, I mean, okay. For the sake of this conversation, I did most of the wedding planning because I am in the industry, but and Jackie did look
the day of,
not the day of,
right.
No. And I didn't want to answer those questions. And so I knew,
and it's also not a day of coordinator. It should be called a month of, like the month of coordinator.
Yeah.
I think it's so stupid that we're calling it day of coordinator because they do more than that.
It's actually even, I'll even go a stretch and say it's more like 2 months.
Right.
Because invitations typically our RSVPs are due like
4 weeks,
6 weeks.
No,
I mean, you could be getting into
like 3 to 4.
Yeah. But so you could be getting into like, when did the invitations go out or when are the RSVPs coming back?
They probably touch base at like 6 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then definitely you're talking to them weekly, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So the wedding planner that I hired for Jackie's wedding, we only ended up, he was really like 2 months out. And the reason why was because being in the industry and knowing a lot of the vendors, we already knew people that we wanted to work with and we were already friends with them. And we had, but I was in a different,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was in a different position
because
right.
You also know your wedding planner personally.
Well, yes, I know him personally.
So you knew that he was going to pick it all up 100%.
Yeah.
Like he was not a typical day of coordinator.
No, he wasn't a day of at all.
But I'm saying like that you planned the entire wedding and he literally picked it up and was like, I got it.
Yeah.
Back off.
Honestly, I didn't plan the entire wedding.
God. Oh my God.
Well, if we're being honest, in terms of what I hired him for, when we met, he was like, so what vendors have you already booked? And what do you still need? Because there were some people that I hadn't decided on yet. Florist was one of them. There was a few that we hadn't like already decided on because most of them were Jackie's preferences and some of mine for, what she asked me. What are you talking about? Wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anywho, so he didn't plan the whole wedding, but I hadn't planned the whole wedding either. It was kind of
okay.
like,
so let's get back to the topic.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to wrap it up. Good
God.
Lord. Well, you gave the mic. You gave the mic to me.
And
so
you
what do you want?
And you ran. So, in general, day of coordinators, zero fan, but for sure not a fan of friend being a day of coordinator.
Yeah.
I also want to trickle on frienders, having your friends be vendors, and how stupid it is.
Yeah, that's another huge mistake.
It's huge. Big mistake. Huge. So it's just one of those things. And if your thought is like, oh, I just don't have the money, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but I'm going to be. If you do not have the money to plan a wedding and get the vendors that you and your spouse deserve to have, go to the fucking courthouse. Go to the courthouse, get an amazing photographer, get a cute dress off Etsy, Amazon, a local boutique, have him dress or them dress, whoever. I don't give a fuck. Go to the courthouse, get a good photographer and book a restaurant, a local, and make a reservation. Your photographer can make that shit look bomb as fuck.
Yeah.
I have seen amazing, beautiful pictures.
You would never know it was a courthouse.
I mean,
wedding.
you do, but like it looks like a glamorous courthouse. Like it looks like something straight out of like right in New York, London. Like it looks like
I've seen that before, and it is pretty cool.
Yes, just go to the fucking courthouse.
Yeah.
And do something but that's the thing. That's what the shit that pisses me the fuck off. If you see, this is the heat that I was thinking you were going to bring in. You're like, well, I just planned. I didn't plan, but like, if you can't afford to do it, don't fucking do it. Don't go to your friends.
Well,
don't ask your friends, hey, can you take pictures? Cause you own that camera. Hey, you planned this event in college. Can you plan my wedding?
Well, yeah, I totally agree with that. There might be like your best friend.
No.
Hold on a second. Let me get my point out. There might be your best friend might actually be a cake baker.
Okay,
she may
that's
actually have a
business
wedding, and she may want to give you a discount.
But that's different.
Right. Just wanted to clarify that.
That's different.
Yeah.
If your friend planned an event in college for your sorority or fraternity and you want them to plan your wedding, no, don't do that shit. Yeah. Don't do that shit. If your friend has a beautiful garden and has put some bouquets together from her fucking garden, don't have her be your florist. Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
The money that you're saving, is it actually worth it?
No.
Goodbye. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah. Well, that was, and oh gosh, that circles back to our DI don't episode.
Well, but also it's just frienders in general. One
will be frenemies when you're done.
I was literally like, one in general, it's just not worth it because you have expectations of your day.
Yeah.
You have what you want. You have, hey, if you're going to do this, you're putting this actual
undue expectations,
professional expectation on them.
Your friends. Yeah.
And they are like, I'm doing this as a favor, or I'm doing this for like very low cost.
There's going to be hurt feelings. Somebody's getting their feelings.
Someone's not going to be happy at the end of it. So just in general,
hire a professional.
Yes. And I also really just want to put a stretch on this at the end of this episode here. There is nothing wrong with going to the courthouse. There's nothing wrong with having a mini ceremony.
Yeah.
Stay in your budget. If you want a big, fabulous wedding, I shouldn't say big. If you want a fabulous wedding and you want to have X, Y, and Z, know your budget. And if your budget can only allow you to have that big, fabulous wedding with 50 people, I'm telling you right now, one of the most fun weddings that I've ever been to was a smaller wedding because everyone knew each other. It was fun. It was just like very thought out.
Yeah. I think what you just said just kind of made me think of something. I think some of these unrealistic expectations come from the internet and Instagram and other
Pinterest.
places. Yeah. So you have to really dive deep into what it is that you
like,
want.
what is it because you saw someone else that wanted it?
Right.
Whatever. But just make sure that if you end up choosing after we've just told you not to do it, because remember, we're the professionals here. If you still choose to have a friend be a vendor and they're not a professional, like if they don't actually have a cake business,
right.
if they're not actually a photographer with a photography business, if you choose to have them be that because they own a camera or because they have a really cool playlist on Spotify, then you need to know going into it, it is not going to be the weddings that you see on TikTok. It's not going to be the weddings that you want. Your expectations need to lower tenfold.
You need to adjust your expectation to the friends that you've asked to do these things for you.
And at that point, I wouldn't get a venue. Get married in your backyard.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah,
I'd even go to as far as be like BYOB. You know what I mean? Like if we're going to do all this, like you've just got to, the expectations need to be altered majorly.
Yeah. That oh God, I just thought of a story.
Share it. Is it good?
Yeah, it was a wedding, and the friend who was doing the videos, battery died in whatever device she was using and didn't have a backup. And surprisingly for me, that was the short version of the story. Oh, I'll take video for you. Yeah, I love to do that. And my battery died and so used a cell phone to take more video. Good times.
Well, you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
You get what you pay for. You get what you don't pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You even get what you don't pay for.
You get what you don't pay for. So the actual talents that are in actual wedding vendors, wedding professionals is very underrated, but it also
is because it undermines the entire industry and the price point of what people charge for their products and their services.
There's a reason.
There is a reason for it. Yeah. Like you wouldn't go buy a car with 3 wheels because
so-and-so is your friend and they sold it to you and they said it'd balance fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that shit. Don't do that shit.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It's, well, and people look at weddings as the biggest, most important day of their life. Why would you do that to yourself?
Because they want, oh my God, like
they want something they can't have.
I love my friend doing this. Like, okay, this is what I want. You show this inspiration picture or video or whatever to your friend. And they're like, oh my God, absolutely.
I want Christian Louboutins and,
and
a Chanel purse.
3 pair.
No, I don't. Stop. That's not the point of this conversation. I was making a point.
Oh, okay. You want more Christian Louboutin and a Chanel bag.
I don't have a Chanel bag.
And a Chanel bag.
And a Chanel bag.
I want more Louis Vuittons and a Chanel bag.
Yeah. That didn't go over very well.
No. I want a Chloe bag.
Yeah, you don't
But here I sit with not a Chloe bag, but I'm also not going to go.
Marshall's on sale.
Whoa. I have not a Marshall. I don't even have a bag over here.
That's why I was just making it up on the fly.
Anywho, thank you so much for joining us again this week. I know it's the highlight of your week. You come here looking for inspiration and you get exasperated by us, but here we come back every week doing it and you come back as well. And we appreciate you for doing so.
Yeah. So if you have a crazy story and you want to send it to us.
Oh my God. If you have a friender story, send that shit. Send that shit right in at stories@cheerstothatshit.com.
I was going to say, that's your job.
stories@cheerstothatshit.com. Send that story. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Cheers to That Shit Podcast. YouTube, Cheers to That Shit. Shit is S !T. Yes, yes, yes. Period.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye.